Two more COVID-19 positive kidney patients died today, rising Manipur's total COVID-19 related death toll to 3. At least 3 Jawans of Assam Rifles killed and 5 sustained injuries in violent ambush along Indo-Myanmar border. 4 outfits claimed responsibility for the attack. Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi approved National Education Policy 2020 to bring reforms in school and higher education systems. Unlock 3 begins from the 1st of August. Union Home Ministry issues fresh guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside containment zone. And India reports a single-day spike of 52,123 new COVID-19 cases in last 24 hours. Death toll reaches 34,968. A very good evening to you all. I'm Kanel Shambanduram presenting you the prime-timed English bulletin. Now let's begin our bulletin with the top stories of today. Manipur has reported 2 COVID-19 related deaths today. A 48-year-old man who tested positive for COVID-19 on 26th of July died at Regional Institute of Medical Sciences this morning around 2:30 a.m. He was admitted to RIMS on the 8th of June due to chronic kidney diseases, stage 5, liver infection, heart problems and other complications. The deceased man hailed from Leimakong, while another COVID-19 positive 47-year-old kidney patient died after he was admitted to RIMS casualty due to shortness of the breath at around 9:30 this morning. The deceased man is from Langold. He was recently discharged from CJ hospitals after kidney dialysis. However, after complaints of breathlessness, the kidney patient was admitted to RIMS casualty this morning, where he breathed his last. The deceased man underwent sample testing for COVID-19 at Babina Diagnostics. His samples was detected positive for COVID-19 and his test results come out today. His sample was again tested at the RIMS using antigen rapid test kit today, which reconfirmed that he was infected with coronavirus. On the other hand, 2 residents doctors of the anesthesia department of RIMS hospital have been found positive of COVID-19. So far, 22 staffs of the hospital, including doctors, have been found positive for COVID-19. Manipur has reported a total of 2,458 COVID-19 cases till Wednesday, of which 819 are active cases. At least 3 Assam Rifle Jawans have died, while another 5 have sustained injuries during a violent encounter with militants near the Indo-Myanmar border. Impact News sources said the incident occurred at around 7 last night near the 4th Assam Rifles Kongtal Company operating base in Kongtal village under Chakpikarong police station of Chandel district. The deceased personnel are Rifleman Ratan Salam from the Kakching district, Rifleman Mitna Konyak from the Mon district of Nagaland, and Havaldar Pranay Kalita from the Barpeta in Assam, while the injured personnel are Subedar of 4th Assam Rifles Ngulkote Haukipt, Rifleman Anish Kumar, Sandeep Kumar Naik, Sikandar Singh of 13th Dogra and Nitun Sharma. A 15-member 4th Assam Rifles scout team led by JCO 1 proceeded from the point 1519 to their company operating base at around 6:30 p.m. yesterday, during which the militants attacked the team by detonating 3 IEDs 1.5 kilometers ahead of their destination. Sources said that right after the IEDs exploded, the attackers fired the Assam Rifle personnel with automatic rifles and lethal bombs. They even attacked the sentry post of the base. Sources said the Assam Rifle squad team retaliated with several rounds of fire upon their attack. The The martyred Jawans have been taken to Jennings morgue and necessary investigations are underway. In the meantime, the Manipur Naga People's Front, Revolutionary People's Front, People's Liberation Army and United Liberation Front of Assam Independent in a joint press release claimed responsibility for yesterday's ambush on the 4th Assam Rifles teamed at the Khongtal village in Jandal district. The outfits claimed that 4 Assam Rifles personnel died and many others were injured in the attack. They condoled the death of one person from WESEA region and appealed to people of WESEA region to stay away from the Indian Army. Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday approved the National Education Policy 2020, a single regulator for higher education institutions, multiple entry and exit options in degree courses, discontinuations of unfilled programs, low-stakes board exams, common entrance exams for universities are among the highlights of the new national education policy. Among the key reforms in the policy are a single regulator for all higher education institutions except for legal and medical colleges, common entrance exam for admissions to universities and colleges to be conducted by the National Testing Agency, and common norms to be in place for private and public higher education institutions. The Cabinet also approved changing the name of the Human Resources Development Ministry to the Education Ministry. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said that the new policy is important as for 34 years there were no changes in the education policy. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said new education policy 2020 will provide to be a milestone in the making of New India. Secretary Higher Education Amit Kher said NEP 2020 aims to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education, including vocational education, from 26.3% in 2018 to 50% by 2035. He said the policy envisages board-based, multidisciplinary, holistic undergraduate education with a flexible curricular creative combinations of subjects, integrations of vocational educations and multiple entry and exit points with appropriate certification, while secondary school educations and literacy. Anita Karwald said board exams will be low stake and the focus will be on testing concept and knowledge application. She said home language, mother tongue or regional language will be medium of instructions up to class 5 and school curriculum will be reduced to core concept, and there will be integration of the vocational education from class 6. Education Minister Dr. Thokchand Radhesham has said that the state government welcomes the National Education Policy 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet yesterday. Briefing media at SSA office in Baupara today, Minister Radhesham expressed firm belief that the new education policy will turn a new chapter in the education sector of the state, terming the policy as a paramount policy. The minister asserted that it will bring significant changes in school education and higher education systems of the country. Minister Radhesham added that the new education policy was formulated based on the 5 principles of access, equity, quality, affordability and accountability.
21st century ki ahan boina masigi TCM ni masigi yam important oiba karidamta landmark oi C policies na it is making way for large scale transformational reforms in both school and higher education. The promotion of Indian language apoi English te yam emphasis piram to India da Bharat le amam language mem se masi singil loin chapal na ba economy yawi education da hana piram isi GDP gi 2.8 to below 3% level mana naksi 6% GDP lagi GDP ki 6% kira aluna double triple hengala ne the hengala ka di koi funding phasal ani aduna masai ki infrastructure wala iba bazar recruitment kari tori me amse si improvement yam lani.
Health and Family Welfare Minister Langpolakpam Jayant Kumar attended a webinar on NAM and Ayush Health and Wellness Center under Ayushman Bharat with Minister of State Independent Charge of Ayush Government of India, Shripad Naik today. During the webinar, Minister Jayant Kumar highlighted undertakings of the department in the state like productions and wide telecast of the short films on yoga to deal with stress and anxiety during COVID-19 pandemic, awareness on the roles of Ayush treatment and protection, productions of food supplements called Ayush Immune Plus, and creation of Health and Wellness Center. The State Health Minister urges the Central Minister to give the sanctioned fund for 17th Health and Wellness Center for 2 years, that is for financial years 2019-20 and 2020-2021, and for opening the newly processed 5th Health and Wellness Center in Manipur. Thangmaiban United Club TUC has seized over 90 baskets of the battled leaves worth lakhs of rupees last night. The battled leaves were seized from the residence of Wand Bhogin at the western side of Lamphel Golailun area in Thangmaiban constituency. Speaking to media, TUC President Pratap Laishangthem said TUC got tip-off regarding the hidden battled leaves at the Bhogin's residence a few days ago. The seized products have been handed over to the concerned police station and food safety office for further appropriate actions.
Lampian haitare Gugailungi Makathamba site Bugen haidna Magi Yumamada Yam Pax on a Kalakanda open no put on Mana Young Haramis in Winatomis. I do Aquila Kodigi Hadim pushing Chisen Jigum pushing Sidama pushing Siga Time United Club Warishan and Navagi two bottom that Lana with the information with the pyramid Haraga Lana Mr. Haitari Manganba Duga Yanava Dumbadi Taki Club Sinadi Kadum never Tauro Koina Leisure Lepak Miangini Manipura Trucky Oiro Ama Oiro Masama Sula Torgadi Win Dandipi. I said you literama for in the field of Faraga, Prazamayana, Dandipi, exit and Panbini Haidar. So some am not Taurakanda, Sigumbadana, Tawungam, as the people, Prazana Yada, to the which of Chanting of Tavni, Capsalani, Tavayada, Navamon, the Aquinas of Repression Taurani, Mango di Pramahalavan, I enjoy your put to the disposed of the Kumba for Pazako, you may ask him at the time in Yaurakanda, Volunteer Ramsing Yauraga for the police department, Yauraga, Chapti Yauraga, for Pumba, the Shokumiam, Yavani.
Manipur entered total lockdown for 8 straight days today in a bid to contain the spread of coronavirus. State police has beefed up the precautionary measures in every district of Manipur, including the Imphal city area. Police continued a crackdown on lockdown violators. They detained people who flouted lockdown rules, those who come out without wearing face masks and without proper reasons or proper documents issued by the government. Police patrol cars were seen in almost every route of Imphal city to prevent any untoward incidents. Roads in Imphal city bore deserted looks as only few vehicles were seen plying on the street for emergency and essential services. Shops in Greater Imphal remained closed except for medical stores and pharmacies. Residents of many localities in Manipur still block roads in their unfounded efforts to contain the spread of coronavirus. Impact News today spoke with hawkers, ambulance service providers and others who are providing emergency and essential services. They highlighted their plights in carrying out their works due to blockage of roads. Some hawkers said they cannot even pass through some localities to deliver newspaper. They said people should abide by SOPs issued by governments instead of blocking streets to ward off COVID-19.
Manipur Miam Gia Matting Pangduna luxury. ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯟꯗꯤꯁꯟꯁꯤ ꯑꯁꯨꯝꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯆꯠꯊꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯥꯐꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯔꯦꯜꯂꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯤꯛ ꯗꯥꯎꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯦ
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯑꯔꯤꯕ ꯂꯩꯅꯥ ꯂꯥꯏꯆꯠ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯅꯍꯥꯟ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯅꯥꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯦꯃꯤꯂꯤ ꯏꯆꯤꯜ ꯏꯅꯥꯎ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯁꯣꯛꯀꯗꯧꯔꯤꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯕꯨ ꯂꯩꯅꯥ ꯆꯦꯟꯕ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯕꯁꯀ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯔꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯎꯕꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯂꯥꯟꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ
ꯈꯕꯔ ꯌꯦꯜꯂꯤꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯕꯔꯕꯨ ꯄꯨꯔꯤꯕ ꯍꯣꯀꯔꯁꯤꯡꯗꯗꯤ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯃꯤꯠ ꯅꯥꯀꯣꯡ ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯗꯕ ꯏ ꯄꯥꯎ ꯄꯨꯗꯨꯅ ꯌꯨꯝꯊꯣꯡ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯗ ꯌꯦꯟꯊꯣꯛꯄꯗ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯂꯧꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯧꯍꯟꯕꯤꯅꯕ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯗ ꯈꯪꯍꯟꯖꯔꯤ
ꯁꯝꯕꯟ ꯈꯥꯖꯤꯟꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯍꯤꯡꯗ ꯁꯗꯟꯂꯤ ꯀꯩꯔꯣꯜ ꯂꯩꯀꯥꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯏꯗ ꯑꯅꯥ ꯑꯌꯦꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯏꯃꯔꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯃꯗꯨꯅ ꯈꯣꯏꯗꯧ ꯁꯥꯎꯅꯤꯡꯕ ꯍꯦꯟꯒꯠꯍꯜꯂꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯅꯨꯡꯁꯤꯅꯗꯕꯒꯤ ꯆꯥꯡ ꯍꯦꯟꯒꯠꯂꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯊꯤꯡꯖꯤꯟꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯂꯩꯅꯥ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯊꯤꯡꯕ ꯉꯝꯂꯣꯏ
ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯍꯨꯠꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯨꯝꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯟꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯠꯊꯣꯛꯇꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ SOPꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯉꯥꯛꯄꯗꯨ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯏ
ꯃꯍꯩ ꯂꯥꯡꯄꯣꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯏꯃꯥꯔꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯆꯠꯊꯣꯛ ꯆꯠꯁꯤꯟ ꯇꯧꯒꯗꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯝꯕꯟ ꯊꯤꯡꯖꯤꯜꯂꯒ ꯊꯝ ꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯗꯕ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ
ꯂꯩꯔꯛ ꯈꯨꯜꯂꯛꯇ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯏꯆꯤꯜ ꯏꯅꯥꯎꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯏꯁꯥ ꯒ꯭ꯌꯥꯟ ꯇꯥꯅꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯁꯝꯕꯟ ꯊꯤꯡꯕꯒꯤ ꯚꯦꯂꯨ ꯀꯩꯁꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯔꯣꯏꯅ
ꯑꯦꯃꯥꯔꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯋꯥ ꯑꯅꯥ ꯇꯥꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗꯗꯤ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯊꯤꯅꯦꯅ.
On the other hand, Impact News came across members of Sado Club Hyanglam in Kakching district monitoring lockdown violators on CCTV instead installed at village gate. Speaking to Impact News, a club member condemned the culture of blocking roads to stop coronavirus transmission. He said that instead of blocking roads, the club members approached Kakching district police to help them in nabbing lockdown violators.
ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯃꯤꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯆꯪꯍꯟꯖꯩ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛꯆꯩ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯇꯧꯕꯗꯕꯨ ꯀꯟꯇꯦꯟꯃꯦꯟ ꯖꯣꯟꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯨꯔꯒ ꯌꯨꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯜꯂꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯍꯥꯛꯀꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯨꯞꯅ ꯁ꯭ꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯅꯤꯡ ꯇꯧꯖꯕꯅꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯟꯅ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯆꯥꯕ ꯑꯅꯥ ꯑꯌꯦꯛꯀꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯏꯃꯔꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤ ꯑꯃꯒꯤ ꯆꯠꯄꯗꯨꯃꯛꯇꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯊꯤꯡꯖꯗꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯒꯦꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯥꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛ ꯊꯥꯖꯤꯟ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯇꯧꯖꯕꯅꯤ ꯃꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯁꯤꯃꯛꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯃꯅꯤꯄꯨꯔꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯁꯨ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯊꯤꯡꯕꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯐꯥꯏꯠ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯥꯏꯠꯇꯒꯤ ꯄꯤꯖꯅꯤꯡꯕꯗꯤ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯨꯔꯥ ꯕ꯭ꯂꯣꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯊꯝꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯏꯃꯔꯖꯦꯟꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯛꯇꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯁꯨ ꯇꯧꯍꯟꯖꯅꯤꯡꯗꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯉꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯖꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯂꯝꯕꯤꯁꯤ ꯊꯥꯗꯣꯛ ꯊꯥꯖꯤꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯚꯂꯟꯇꯤꯌꯔ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯑꯍꯤꯡ ꯅꯨꯡꯊꯤꯜ ꯅꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ CCTV ꯀꯦꯃꯦꯔꯥꯅꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯄꯥꯟꯖꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯀꯨꯞꯅ ꯁꯦꯟꯅꯗꯨꯅ ꯂꯩꯖꯔꯤ.
Iramdam Kanba Apunbalub IKAL in a press release appeals to state governments to stop issuing inner-line permits to outsiders amid the coronavirus pandemic. IKAL also appeals to the governments to open a separate COVID-dedicated hospital to treat COVID-19 patients in place of COVID treatment facilities open at RIMS and Jenims at the earliest, as non-COVID patients are facing inconveniences in getting their treatment at this hospital. Kurai MLA El Susindro has appealed to social workers to treat everyone equally and not to see politics in COVID-19 pandemic. Attending a public meeting organized by members of local clubs and women's organizations of Kurai constituency at Ima Laikulembi Laibung in the Kurai Sajur Laikai today, MLA Susindro said that 23 quarantine centers of Kurai are still kept open in the wake of rising local transmission of coronavirus. He added that around the 5 quarantine centers in Kurai are still active and necessary steps are underway for the rest. Stating that rise in COVID-19 positive cases in Thoubal district is due to negligence of its residents. MLA Sushindro also appeals to book lockdown violators and those who fail to maintain social distancing norms. He urged the authorities concerned to send lockdown violators to jail.
appeal tawningi COVID-19 gi matam se sise darkar leitaba maram chadaba miyoi singna mapan thoktana process satna tawbiba singse masi phabiyo aduga akoi kurai da leiba jail chom lei huji hanga lei sajiwa jail sigi jail part amadi masi di mi ta leitamne masi thambiyo sine ai natrige di COVID-19 ji fight tawma maroi ai haijin na nate heta guide to mo chasi akoi mya Turemban pa yin si no moi tara kun je huji jwa sanan traba ai MLA oi topi aseng mani moi masana bhag ta dre jiti state government gi police force je machina top action khudimak ta akoi sida leiriba akoi na si meeting da yaw myam je akoi ama to decision lemina je hobom da lemina je action lo akoi myam matin pani hai.
Now it's time for a small commercial break. After the break, we bring you updates on Union Home Ministry's fresh guidelines for Unlock 3. We will be back with details after the break. Until then, keep watching Impact News.
COVID-19 की हौजिक ओइबा फिवम असी यंगजरगा राज मेडी सिटी की OPD मखाताबा नोटिस अमा थोक्तिरबा फाउबा थिंगजिनजरे हॉस्पिटल असी की इमरजेंसी सर्विस कक्तमा चथजगनी हाइरिबा असिसु टेलीफोन दा हाना अपॉइंटमेंट लौबिगदबनी अपॉइंटमेंट की दमक 9366324204 दा कांटेक्ट तौबियु खंगंजरिबा राज मेडी सिटी इम्फाल Northeast India की आहान बोइना IGS Infra Solutions Private Limited ना मणिपुर इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट की VIP लॉज मणिपुर स्टेट रूरल लाइवलीहुड मिशन इम्फाल ईस्ट कैराउ बिट्रा तनिक्स टाटा मोटर्स ता अमुक कापथोपदा था अहुम गाक्थोपा ngamba कोविड कोड की पांबै पिजखरे अदुदसु नतना था मरी थिंगसिलुरबा ममिंग लेरबा जयपुर क्लब अमदी UP की स्टेट रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट कॉर्पोरेशन की बस स्टेशन अनिदसु कापथोपतुना अमुक हन्ना हांगदोक हनखिबा लेखरे अकुपा मरोल की दमक IGS Infra Solutions MM Manson Nauremthong contact number 9862104214.
Banthobi Group of Companies presents Banthobi Housing Finance Company Limited, regulated by National Housing Bank, wholly owned by Reserve Bank of India, provides subsidized home loan under PMAY-CLS Housing for All by 2022 mission. Banthobi Microfin deals with microfinance activities only. Banthobi Nidhi Limited provides loan against fixed deposit, loan against property, etc. Banthobi Constructions Private Limited facilities. Booking started for real estate residential projects of flats, villas or row houses, etc. For more details, kindly contact Banthobi Housing Finance Company Limited and its subsidiary group of companies or report Ranglom Leitlai Imphal.
Ichabu mahitam hanba haibasi mama mapa singna machada piba ngamba khwaidigi chabu khudoni. Slopland Public School, biggest and the finest residential school, Manipur gi oina lemjuningai oiraba, mahitam ama oiriba, khwaidigi junaraba mafamda semgatlaba, CBSE the affiliate toba higher secondary school oiri. Icha singbu admission tawidana mama mapa singna machada piba ngamba khwaidigi chabu khudol oibiu, ichagi phazabalam chat sajati ahombadu ubiu, Slopland Public School Khongjom.
Andro AC की सोशल वर्कर ओइबग लोइनना AC असि की कांग्रेस लुचिंग ओइबत नतना यूनाइटेड एनजीओस फोरम मणिपुर की चेयरमैन ओइरिबा कैशाम निंगथेम जाउना अंद्रो AC की मियाम की थबक थौरम कयादा मतेंग पांगबिबा स्फ्रूटी स्कीम की मखादा अहानबा इंस्टॉलमेंट ओइना लुपा लिसिंग यांखै पीबिबा लोइनना कोविड-19 न मरम ओइरगा लॉकडाउन लैरिङै मनुंगदा युमदा लैना लैना सेंदान लंबी पीबिबगी दमक कैशाम निंगथेम जाउबु ताइबंग मपुना याइफबा माइपाकपा ओहेन बिष्णु हाइना हाइजरिबा इंगा लैमतो कुथबि नुपिलो
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching Primetime English Bulletins. Union Home Ministry has issued new guidelines for opening up of the more activities in areas outside the containment zone. The process of phased reopening of activities has been extended further in Unlock 3, which will come into effect from the 1st of August. The new guidelines issued yesterday are based on the feedback received from states and union territories and extensive consultations held with related central ministers and departments. Restrictions on movement of individuals during night have been removed. Yoga institutions and gymnasiums will be allowed to open from the 5th of August. In this regard, standard operating procedure will be issued by Health Ministry for issuing social distancing. Independence Day functions will be allowed with social distancing and by following others' health protocols. School, colleges and coaching institutions will remain closed till 31st of August. International air travels of passengers has been permitted in a limited manner under the Vande Bharat mission. Further opening up will take place in a calibrated manner. All activities except metro rails, cinema halls, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theatres, bars shall be permitted outside containment zone. Social, political, sports, entertainments, academic, cultural, religious functions and other large congregations will not be permitted. Activities in the containment zone shall be monitored strictly by state and union territories authorities, and the guidelines related to containment measures in this zone shall be strictly implemented. The Health Ministry will monitor the proper of containment zones and implementations of the containment measures. State and union territories, based on this assessment of the situation, may prohibit certain activities outside the containment zones or impose such restrictions as deemed necessary. However, there shall be no restrictions on interstate and interstate movement of persons and goods. India has reported a single-day spike of 52,123 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. That toll has reached 34,968. As per the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, country's total confirmed cases have crossed 15 lakh, out of which about 5 lakh are active cases. Total recoveries from COVID-19 surpassed 10 lakh mark. 32,553 recoveries were reported in the past 24 hours. With this, the country's recovery rate stands at 64.43%, and COVID-19 mortality rate has further declined to 2.20% in the country. Maharashtra has the highest number of active cases of nearly 1,45,000. Meanwhile, the Indian Council of Medical Research said that a total of 4,46,642 tests of the coronavirus samples were conducted by various laboratories during the last 24 hours. Globally, coronavirus has infected about 1,72 lakh people, and more than 6,70,000 people have died. Recoveries are about 1,73,000. USA is on top with more than 21,69,000 active cases, and Brazil is at second place with nearly 6,78,000 active cases of COVID-19. India is at the third place in the world. Total active cases of COVID-19 in the northeast states, including Manipur, have crossed a 13,500 mark in the last 24 hours. Assam's total confirmed COVID-19 cases have crossed 36,000 mark, out of which 8,368 are active cases. Arunachal Pradesh confirmed COVID-19 cases have reached 1,410, out of which 730 are active cases. Nagaland's confirmed cases have reached 1,513, out of which 913 are active cases, including 6 staff of Nagaland State Assembly who tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Tripura's total confirmed COVID-19 cases have reached 4,288, out of which 1,628 are active cases. There are 183 active cases of COVID-19 in Mizoram, 397 in Sikkim, and 580 in Meghalaya. The Protection Committee of Yareld to Golub local Top Ketri in a press release demands the government to immediately unblock the public canals which has been blocked by State Directorate of Environment and Ecology Wing, along with some individuals for constructing a wetland at Yarel Part located in Imphal East District. The committee also demands to halt the construction of a dam at Naharub Khonzin by Minor Irrigation Department. Works Minister Thongamd Vishwarjit's brother Thongamd Surjit handed over a fully equipped ambulance to President of Thongju Kendra Voluntary Workers COVID-19 Relief Committee S. Ibobi today. The ambulance was sponsored by Minister Vishwarjit's TKRC members. Attended the event held at UPHC Konok Kongnang Makong Community Quarantine Center. Old Manipur Women's Social Reformation and Development Samaj in a press release appealed to authorities concerned to hand over the pending multi-crore rupees drug trafficking cases to the CBI to solve the cases at the earliest. Nongpok Laingak Apunba Nupilup, in a separate press release, also urged the state government to award bail-fitted punishment to drug traffickers. Secretary of the association, Nongthombam Radhamani, demanded to book the miscreants involved in trafficking huge quantity of tobacco products in the Luangshangbam Mamang Laikai recently amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. With the extension of COVID-19 lockdown since July 23 in a bid to contain the spread of coronavirus, pineapple farmers of the state are in apprehension of incurring loss. Project Director of the Manipur Organic Mission Agency, Moma K. Devadatta, has urged the farmers not to worry. He assured that necessary decisions have been made to ease their worries and the governments will purchase their products. K. Devadatta said that arrangements are all set to airlift organic pineapples of the state to Mumbai and Bangalore soon. He said MoMA and Departments of Horticulture and Soil Conservation, in collaboration with a local agency named Krishi Kadma National Private Limited, have been exporting pineapples. K. Devadatta added that around 3 to 4 metric tons of pineapples can now be airlifted per day since last Monday.
Manipur ki manung da leiriba Likla Maira Li Foods amadi Churachandpur da leiba processing unit loinana home scale industries macha leiba sing si ekoi contact loina toba loijare Likla Fruits na mayam gi suffering si yengaga mathang gi sahida lowdrasu yanaba mawongda pandemic situation ji gi wani matam sida about 100 metric ton di lowrage haina ekoi da khanghalakpasu lei Thayong gi region da leiba amadi Tamenglong gi region da leiba ki home tharaga patna mangi haidana report pibirakpado madugi follow up action loina ngasidagi horaga Tamenglong dagi ki home purakpa horagani loinana Thayong gi ngasidagi hongna mairana ki home sing ase loksan ba hogre habse ai thamjaningi puthoiba ki home sing si yamna maram oidana market ta normal loina thadokpa amadi market ki consumer da ekoi gi thadokpa se masi khudong chabal leitaba taraga su at our maximum level base ekoi hotnaraga farmer sing gi awaba se masi ekoi soidana horticulture department sina ekoi government of Manipur sina honorable chief minister gi adum miyeng makhada ekoi soidana leptana hotnagani.
Development Organization Ando Kendra, in a press release, greets Muslim brethren, especially those residing in Andhra constituency, on the occasions of upcoming Eid-ul-Adha. The organization wished for the festivals to bring happiness and success. While the Manipur Muslim Welfare Organizations MMWO, in a press release, appealed to Muslim community not to celebrate Eid-ul-Adha with mass congregations like previous year. It appeals to celebrate the festival at home with basic rituals. All Manipur Muslim Organizations Coordinating Committee AMMOCOC, in a separate press release, also sent Eid-ul-Adha greeting. AMMOCOC General Secretary Wahidur Rahman appeals to Muslims to abide by SOPs provided by the government while celebrating the religious festival, which falls on the 1st of August. Now the sports news. Host England have defeated West Indies by 269 runs in the third test match at Old Trafford Cricket Ground. In the match, West Indies won the toss and the field first. In their first inning, England made 362 runs while West Indies met just 197 runs. While in the second inning, England made 226 runs with 2 wickets down and West Indies met just 129 runs with 10 wickets down. Overall, in the third test match, England won 2 matches and West Indies only 1 match. England's all-rounders Stroud Board was adjudged man of the series titled. The delayed 124th France Open Tennis Championship is all set to be held from 27th of September till 11th of October this year. The championship, which is a part of world's second Grand Slam, was switched from its traditional May-June slot because of the coronavirus pandemic. It was first decided for September 20 to October 4. Now, Paris' main draw of the season's final Grand Slam event will begin a week later and finish on 11th of October. The tennis championship was played at the Sand Court from 1891 till 1907, and then from 1908 till the present, the championship is played at the Clay Court. In men's singles, Rafael Nadal is the 12th-timed tennis champion and last year's Grand Slam champion, while in women's singles, USA's Chris Evert Lloyd has won record 7 championships at the France Open. Australia's Ashley Barty claims last year's Grand Slam title. Many tennis players from across the world are competing in various matches of the tennis championship, including men and women's singles, doubled and mixed doubled, junior and wheelchair matches. Well, that is all we have in this bulletin, but before we wind up, let's take a glimpse at the headlines once again. 2 more COVID-19 positive kidney patients died today, rising Manipur's total COVID-19 related death toll to 3. At least 3 Jawans of Assam Rifle killed and 5 sustained injuries in violent ambush along Indo-Myanmar border. 4 outfits claimed responsibility for the attack. Union Cabinet chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi approved National Education Policy 2020 to bring reforms in school and higher education systems. Unlock 3 begins from August 1st. Union Home Ministry issued fresh guidelines for opening up of more activities in areas outside containment zones. And India reports a single-day spike of 52,123 new COVID-19 cases in last 24 hours. That toll reaches 34,968. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Coming up next is Primetime Manipuri News. Well, in the meantime, for more news and information, please do not hesitate to follow Impact TV on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Until then, have a great evening and stay safe.